Hello, welcome to this nail art tutorial, live and in consort. Well, okay, this tutorial is not live and it's definitely not in consort, but you get the idea. So, I got to see Six the Musical last week, and to celebrate, as I usually do, I did special nail art for the occasion. And so as you can probably figure out from the title, there are 6 queens in Six the Musical. It is based on the 6 queens of Henry VIII. Blah. Yuck. Disgusting. But we love the queens. We love the queens. I love the interpretation. Like the way, if you don't know about 6, it's like a pop consort, if you will. And it's like telling the stories of each of the queens and then like letting them reclaim their stories and, changing her story, not history. I might just be like easily impressed, but I thought, 6 is very clever, like in their wording and their wordplay and the way they change the words and stuff. I really love it. I love the her story instead of history. I also love, there's one part in the show where one of the queens, I think it's Anna of Cleves, she says like, okay ladies, let's get in reformation. I was like, that is so funny. Like you could appreciate it if you saw the show. Anyways, let me actually explain what I'm doing. So I wanted to paint a nail art design inspired by each of the 6 queens on my nails, and so I started with what I anticipated to be the hardest, which it was. This white nail, is inspired by Jane Seymour's costume. So Jane Seymour was the 3rd wife of Henry VIII, and she's like the 3rd queen in this show, like chronologically. So I'm doing her costume, and I posted that. I was really proud of this nail art look, so I posted it like all over the internet. And someone on Reddit commented and was like, I really like the insectoid nail. I was like, I guess like this nail with like, I don't know what you would call them, like the chevrons or whatever, looks kind of like insectoid. I guess I can see it. Those eyes kind of look like a fly or something. I don't know. Wait, not the eyes. Like the sparkly bit right there, like the chest bit. They kind of look like the eyes of like a bug if you like zoomed in a lot, I guess. So yeah, this nail was for Jane Seymour, and now let's move on to the next queen. This is not in order. Also, can we take one moment to just admire this swatch? Oh my gosh. I have been editing this footage for days now, and every time I see this swatch, I'm like, oh my goodness, I did that? Look how good that looks. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this nail, on my middle finger, I wanted to do the, what number is she? The 5th queen, Katherine Howard. And she's my favorite queen in the show because I love her song. Her song is my favorite. Each of the queens is inspired like by iconic women in pop music. And so one of the huge inspirations for Katherine Howard is Ariana Grande, and I do love me some Ariana Grande. I love Ariana. I saw her in concert once. So anyways, yeah, Katherine Howard is my favorite queen. I love her costume. I love her long pink hair. It's just all very cool. I was kind of sad that I kind of messed up like how I did this nail. I just think like, I wanted to capture as many details as possible, but I think I might have overdone it. These gemstones, even though these are the smallest gemstones I could find, they still are kind of big, like when you're looking at the shot, like they're kind of big. So I felt like those kind of overpowered the look, but I wanted to add as many gemstones and holographic glitters and everything as I could, because these costumes, when you see them in real life, they are super, super hollow and glittery and sparkly. So I wanted to like capture that look on my nail art, but I feel like I kind of overdid it for this nail, and that made it kind of busy. But yeah, that was the Katherine Howard nail. Next up, I am painting the nail dedicated to Anne Boleyn. arguably the most famous wife of Henry VIII, Anne Boleyn. Iconic. Again, love the swatch. I'm using a Holo Taco Everything is Pine. Just perfect. Holo Taco's glitters were perfect for this nail art look. Anne Boleyn's costume is pretty easy. I did run into some issues though, because I was doing this last minute. Of course, I was doing this the day of the show. Of course. Because God forbid I actually planned something out in time. So anyways, when I was doing her costume, if you look at her costume, do you see how there's squares of hollow fabric, or I don't even know what you'd call that, but hollow squares. And so I thought maybe I had an idea, and if I had more time I could have pulled it off, but I cut out pieces of this holographic ribbon. I dug this out. I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. You know how maybe you don't, but I just like to keep and hoard a bunch of art supplies for the perfect moment. I was like, I've had this ribbon for forever, and I thought this would be perfect. And you can kind of see the vision. If I had more time to make those glitters the right size and to help them lay flat and to go over the lines again, I think I could have pulled it off. But I was in a time crunch. So the Anne Boleyn nail kind of went through it. I also then decided I wanted to make the black lines holographic, and after I did that I regretted it. I was like, oh gosh, it's too much sparkle. It takes away from it. So I did go back on that, and then it's just silly how difficult I made this one nail be. And so yeah, I did go back in and cover up those lines with just black acrylic paint to fix it. Anyways, we're now on to the Cleves nail. This is Anna of Cleves, fourth wife of Henry VIII. Her costume is very cool, very symmetric, and very red. So that's what I'm working on here. I did want to talk about a little bit when I got into 6, so I'm gonna stop giving weird backstory on the nails and talk about that briefly, okay? So picture it, Sicily. I'm just kidding. Do you get that reference though? Let me know if you do. So I started college in 2019. My freshman year of college was 2019 to 2020, and in spring of 2020, the 2020 spring semester, gosh, how many times can I just repeat that? I was taking a lot of art studio classes, because that was my first major in college, was fine and visual arts. And so I was taking a lot of studio classes that required me to spend a lot of time alone in the studio, and so I needed to find some new things to listen to keep me occupied. During this time was actually when I found the Simply Podlogical podcast. So I would spend a lot of long days and nights alone in the art studio on campus, listening to Simply Podlogical. And then I also wanted to find some new musicals to listen to. So during this time, I think mainly the two I found were Beetlejuice, the musical, which is one of my all-time favorite musicals, and then also 6, the musical, which is one of my all-time favorite musicals as well. And this was just an important time, because it was special, just spending a lot of time by myself listening to these songs, these stories, and falling in love with them. And so, as you know, what happened in the spring of 2020 is that in March, I had started getting into these shows I think we started school late January, February this semester. It was weird. That first school I attended, a little bit of Haysalto lore, I attended many colleges. That first school, it always started kind of late into the spring. But anyways, that's not important. We found out very suddenly that, we had to get off the campus when the pandemic was starting. And I remember, most of it is blurry, but it was a very, not life-changing, but just like pivotal moment in time, especially because it was my freshman year of college. Like, it was my first time being on my own, living away from home. And so, I'd just gotten back to campus following like Christmas break. I was getting settled back in and everything. And so we find out in like I think like the second week of March, I want to say it was like the 12th. It was like we found out on the Wednesday and we had to be gone by, I want to say the Saturday maybe. Somehow I ended up with like one day to pack up my dorm. And so I lived in a triple dorm. My gosh, never doing that again. But we had to. That's kind of how it worked. So I lived with 2 other roommates in one single room. And they were very nice. But they like both packed up super quick. They didn't lug all this nail polish with them to college and all that. So they packed up quick. And they left before me. So I was just left alone in the college. Obviously there were other people there still packing up. But I was alone in that dorm, trying to pack everything up, and I was very overwhelmed and stressed and scared and, just worried about what was going on. Was I ever going to come back to college? It was a scary time. And I just remember vividly, like, because there was nobody in the dorm, I felt comfortable blasting my music and just rocking out to these songs. And I have, like, these videos of me just listening to the songs from 6 on repeat as I'm packing up, and it's just, like I said, a pivotal moment for me. So that's kind of a brief backstory on why 6 is important to me, just like how it was there when like things were uncertain and it was just something fun to distract myself with. And yeah, anyways, let me get back real quick to talking about the nails. I'm onto the Katherine Howard nail. This is on my thumb. I am placing some rhinestones on my thumb, and I really liked, as I said, I wanted to add as much glitter as I could. So I liked the idea of adding a lot of sparkle and glitter to this look. Whoops. I tore the backing off that rhinestone. Never mind that. So I had hand placed, did a glitter placement, my favorite thing. A bunch of silver holographic glitters onto the vertical lines on this nail, and then after I put these rhinestones on, I was like, oh gosh, I think it's too much. And as much as I wanted this look to be like over the top and everything, I didn't want it to be like, just like with the Anne Boleyn nail, I didn't want it to be like overpowering or anything. So I went in with black acrylic paint and just covered up all of those individually placed glitters, and then put little dots of silver holographic nail polish, which were, a lot more like subtle. Now onto the final nail. I apologize that this footage is, not really in frame, not really in focus. So someone had suggested, I asked on my stories, how am I gonna fit 6 nail designs on 5 nails? And somebody had suggested like split it up and do 2 designs per nail, and you could fit 6 designs on 3 nails. And I considered that, and then I did just decide I wanted to honor each queen individually. That's kind of one of the messages of the show. And it's not that serious though, but what in referring to my nails is not that serious. In the show it's very serious and important, and I love that. But anyways, all that to say, I wanted to give each queen their own nail, and so I do only have 5 nails per hand, unfortunately. So I decided to do the Catherine of Aragon nail on my right hand, which means I had to paint it with my left hand. I am right-handed, and so it was tricky painting with my left hand, which is why the footage is not the best, which is why it was kind of hard to get my nail in frame. And yeah, when I was doing the inspo for this nail, I drew inspo from, I think it's now the old Aragon costume, because when I saw the show last week, she was not wearing this costume with the triangles or anything. But I did try to find, like, I chose to put the Aragon nail on this hand because it was the easiest for me to paint with my non-dominant hand. So I did just draw inspo from, I guess, the old costume. I don't know. There's so much lore that goes with the 6 costumes throughout the companies and like when the alts perform and everything. It's a whole thing. Anyways, yeah, I'm doing some rhinestone placement. I didn't realize until afterward that one of the rhinestones, do you see that one? There's a pink one. How did it sneak its way in there? It's Katherine Howard again. Anyways, yeah. This is the Catherine of Aragon nail. She was the first wife of Henry VIII. And oh my gosh, it's already time for top coating. I'm sorry. I never like figure out how to explain myself while doing these videos. So just putting a top coat on these nails. On the nails that I didn't show, I did still put top coat, but I didn't like just apply it all in one go like I did for those 3 nails. You know, I placed it like with a small nail art brush because I didn't want to put top coat over the rhinestones and like dull them, but I did make sure everything was like secure, so don't worry about that. Here are some looks at the final nail art look. I also, as you can see, I did paint 6 on my right hand. You know, I did that with my left hand, a little proud moment for me. If I had more energy, and also if I had a working tripod, because like my phone holder has not been working, so it's really hard to film, even just on my left hand. So if I had more time and more energy and motivation, I would have filmed a tutorial for how I painted like the 6 logo on my right hand. But like it's kind of self-explanatory. I mean, like if you want a tutorial, just let me know and I could do something. But yeah, all I did was use white acrylic paint to like sketch out how the letters was gonna look, and then I used Holo Taco's Milky White Shimmer, which I also used for the Jane Seymour nail, and I just put that over the white acrylic paint and then painted a little crown. And yeah, so yeah, here's a little clip of me trying to show off my nails while in the audience at the theater. I don't know why I bother with these clips because the lighting, of course, is never good, you know, in the audience in a huge theater. Here's the view. I got balcony seats. It was very last minute when I purchased my seats. I was kind of hoping that the theater would give me an influencer invite, because sometimes they do, but unfortunately they didn't for this show, which was a bummer. So I did buy the tickets myself. I got tickets for me and my mom because it was a Mother's Day gift, because she is a queen in her own right. But yeah, we ended up sitting in the balcony kind of far away. I was kind of squinting, but even so, it was still an absolutely amazing show. All of the performers were incredible. The queens were incredible. The musicians were incredible. The lighting was amazing. Truly a concert. It is a consort. A consort. Yeah, it was just amazing. And if you have the chance to see Six the musical on Broadway, on tour, I think, are they still performing on cruises? If you could see it on a cruise, that would be super cool. But yeah, if you have a chance to see Six the musical, I highly recommend. It is super fun, super energetic, and it has a great message at the end, and it's just a great time. So yeah, these were my 6 nails and my experience seeing Six the musical on tour. And so yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Goodbye. So it's just me.
Sitting here all alone on a throne in a palace that I happen to own. Bring me some pheasant, keep it on the bone.
I literally only have my tiny little, like, away suitcase because I thought I was only packing for spring break.
Fires burn, the wind has blown.
Oh gosh.